Anymore.
All right.
God put a rainbow in the clouds.
Yes, He did.
Not in the sky, but in the clouds.
All right.
We are told in Genesis that people became so frightened at the unrelenting falling of the wind that they thought it would never cease, and so God put a rainbow in the sky. Well, that was said, but in the 20th century, well, the 19th century, an African-American writer, a poet, probably a woman, I'm not sure about it, said that God put the rainbow not just in the sky, but in the clouds themselves. We know that suns and moons and stars and all sorts of illuminations are in the clouds. In fact, in the firmament. However, sun can so lower and lower, clouds can lower, that you can't see the possibility of light. But if clouds are permeated with light, with hope, there's a chance that you can really see hope. And so I think of hope as being put right into the clouds. And when I came here some years ago to this university, and I thought of it then as a hope in the clouds.
Amen.
And just now I met two young men who made me sure that this university is a hope in the clouds. I met a young man who says his focus is going to be on agriculture. And another young man who says his interest is on becoming a food analyst and even a chef. You see, it is fine and well and good to think of universities turning out young men and women who are going to be technologists, scientists, etc. However, it's of more importance to me that in the Midwest, in the center of our country, we have a university turning out men and women who are interested in feeding us.
Yes.
And seeing to it that we know who we are and even whose we are and why we are. I'm pleased to come here and see that this university is a rainbow in the clouds. Yeah. And so when I was asked to come, I hurried to say yes, because I thought I have a few things to say to you. And I know I was invited 8 years ago, and now at this particular age I've arrived at. You may not invite me again, but I hope you will. Try. And I'll stick around. I'll try. I know that I'm now celebrating my 83rd year. So, if you wait for me, I'll wait for you. I'll see if you have the nerve to invite me when I'm 8 years older. If you do, I'll come. I promise you that. I promise to bring you the idea of how important you are. Not enough adults tell you that you're the best we have. You really are the best we have. Whether you're here in this state or whether you're in Maine or if you're in Illinois, you're the best. We have nobody better than you. And we need you desperately. Not enough people tell you that. You are desperately needed. We need you to make this country more than it is today, more than what James Baldwin called these yet to be United States.
All right, all right.
We need you. We need your courage. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently.
All right.
You can be anything erratically: kind, true, fair, generous, just, merciful. But to be that thing time after time, day after day, when even your family and friends are saying, "You mean you're still seeing those people? You're still letting those people come? Don't you know those people are gay? Don't you know they're fat? Don't you know those people are black? You see what you're inviting to your house some white people? Don't you know that those people..." Without courage, you can't say, "Yes, I am," because I know that I am a human being, and nothing human can be alien to me.
All right.
Woo!
All right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That statement was made in Latin: "Homo sum, humane nihil me alienum puto." I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me.
All right.
The statement is so incredible because it was made by a man named Terence. And when you look in your encyclopedia under Terence with one R, you will see in italics beside his name, in italics, Homo Terentius Afro. He was an African, sold to a Roman senator. He was freed by that senator. He became the most popular playwright in Rome. 5 of his plays in that one statement have come down to us from 154 BC. This man, not born white or free or with any possibility, he thought, of becoming a playwright in the Rome of his day, or to even become a citizen, said, "I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me." Young men and young women, this statement is so liberating. I want you to have it. When I leave this place, I'm going to leave that statement with the young man who introduced me. I want you to have it. It means, of course, if a human being creates the most heinous crime, you have to say, I have the possibility of committing that crime because a human being did it. I intend to use my industry to never create such a crime, to use my industry, my intelligence, to become a user of the positive elements, not the negative. If you can say that, it means that you can say, if a human being dreams a great dream, dares to love someone, has the unmitigated gall to accept love in return, if a human being did it, I have within myself the possibility of doing that. What that also liberates you to do is to go into your classrooms. If you're going into a classroom where you're studying algebra, geometry, you have to say, wait now, the geographers who dreamed the great dream of geography were human beings, just like me. My goodness. Think about that. If a human being speaks French or Spanish or Xhosa or Zulu, you have to say, oh, wait a minute. Now that's a human being who's doing that.
All right.
Okie dokie. You see, you liberate yourself from ignorance. And that's why this institution was built. Imagine it. It was built so that you could know you've already been paid for.
All right.
So that you could come here and liberate yourself from ignorance.
Yes.
This coming Sunday, I'm going to give the convocation at Duke University. It will be my 23rd year of giving the convocation. And each time I go there, I say, young men and women, you're in this institution built so that you can drop that tote bag of ignorance. You can liberate yourself. Whether your ignorance was given to you by your family, by your community, by your race, you can say, by and by, I will lay down this heavy load. Imagine it. That's really why you're here. Gosh. Some people think, some girls think, oh, I'm here because I'll meet that guy a couple of inches taller, and, Some of the fellas think I'll meet that girl a couple of inches shorter and nice, and maybe her family has money. I know them down. And it's not really why you're here. You're really here so that you can liberate yourself and prepare yourself to liberate someone who is yet to come. Whether your ancestors came from Eastern Europe, trying to escape the pogroms, the little and large murders, arriving at Ellis Island having their names changed to something utterly unpronounceable. Or if the ancestors came from Italy, or France, or Germany, or South America, Eastern Asia, and at last arriving at this country, trying to find a place that would hold all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves and their countless generations. Or if they came from South America, Mexico, the islands, India. I mean, suppose they came from Scandinavia, saying, woo, at last, away from all that snow, arriving someplace where there's still snow, but not that much. Indeed, suppose they came from Africa, lying spoon fashion, that is back to belly, in the filthy hatches of slave ships, in their own and in each other's excrement and urine and menstrual flow. Imagine coming here to live for centuries as slaves, finally saying, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. Imagine. So you can come here and lay down, put away the heavy load of ignorance. It makes you realize why you really are here when you think about it. And you look back at your parents and you think, my Lord, they paid for me already. My Lord, and I have been so disrespectful. I didn't know what they did. Oh, I see. And my grandparents even more so. Without even knowing what my name would be. Some of them died and had already paid for me. Imagine, here you are, going to change the world, going to make it a better place for those who are yet to come. Just imagine that. I think I'm happy myself. Yes, you're wondrous and wondrously made. Yes. And it's my blessing to have been asked to say a poem, to write a poem and say it for the oncoming opening of the Martin Luther King unveiling And so I will do that. I won't do it on Sunday when it's opening, because I'm going to be at Duke. I've given my word to Duke. I will, however, read it on Friday at a lunch in Washington, D.C. And it has been asked of me to write some poems at some important times. I love poetry, and I've managed to write some from time to time at various times of importance. Poetry is important at all times. I would like you, men and women, to go to your ambassadors of poetry, which really are your librarians. They have studied their discipline, which is with as much seriousness as have open heart surgeons, as have computer analysts, but we treat them as if and we don't treat them with enough respect. I mean, we tiptoe around them. I encourage you, please, go to your librarian tomorrow, or even tonight if you have the private number. Don't use my name, but go there and say, Miss Angelou suggested that I come to you and you would open my ears to some poetry. Now don't expect any immediate response. See, so many years have passed since a librarian has actually been asked to use her or his brilliance. You would have about 3 minutes of but when the librarian gets over her or his surprise, shock, she, using whatever your appellation is, Dr., Mrs., Mr., Yo, when she or he gets over it, she will offer you some brilliant poetry. I want to say something to you before I go to the brilliant poetry. Although I think all of it is brilliant. When it's good, it's very, very good. Amen. And when it's bad, it's hard. Okay, give me that. But here, you see, some people don't understand how African Americans have lived all these years under circumstances that can't be tolerated. I think the poetry is one of the reasons. And we have undergone experiences too bizarre to have been included in Alice Elliott's phenomenon, the book Roots, or in the television phenomenon Roots, in which I played Kunta Kinte's grandmother. Too bizarre. And yet here we are, still here. Today, upwards of 50 million, and I know there are people who swear there are more than 50 million black people in the Baptist church. And they're not even counting Baptists and CME and AME and the 3 atheists, black atheists in the world, but still here. There's a line in a poem, 19th century poem, in which a black man spoke of the woman he loved. He said, the woman I love is fat and chocolate to the bone. And every time she shakes, some skinny woman loses her home. You see, when a larger society is telling you you're not much, you're too fat. I mean, you go out here in the back so far and your heels are round. You need somebody to say you're all right. If somebody says you're white and poor, you know, you're poor, you're up in the mountains, you're not going to ever be anybody. You need to have somebody to say, southern trees bears strange fruit. You need to have it. You need to have somebody say, you're not only fine, you're just fine.
All right. All right.
When they say, oh, but, I mean, you're Asian and your eyes, you look so weird. You need somebody to say, your eyes are blue, your kisses too, your eyes are black, don't you get back, your eyes are fine as summer wine.
Yes.
You understand?
All right.
You need somebody to say, you are just right.
That's right.
Spanish speaking, and the world laughs at you and calls you all these off names. You need somebody to say, "Qué bonitos ojos tiene." What beautiful eyes you have beneath your two eyebrows. Qué bonitos ojos tiene abajo sus dos cejas. Ellos me quieren mirar, pero si tú no lo sé, they want to look at me, but if you want to allow them, they will look straight into my eyes. Yes, you need to have that. So, when you look at African American poetry, women's American poetry, men's poetry, French, German, get it all. Get it. Put it in your brain. You need to have it. The time will come when you'll long for it and you can call it up. I encourage my young men and women to memorize poetry. Have it ready for you so that you can call it. Here's a woman's poem. And I invite my young men, students, the two young men who just came out and introduced, one who introduced the other, and one who introduced me. I ask you, please learn this poem by Edmund Vincent Millay. You have to see this woman, small, white, wan, little, wan. It's a beautiful word, W-A-N. We call it puny in Arkansas, puny. Edmund Vincent Millay wrote, I shall die, but that is all I will do for death. With his horse's hooves on my chest, I will not tell him where the black boy lies hidden in the swamp. Brothers and sisters, the keys and the plans to my city are safe with me. I shall die, but that is all I will do for death. With his horse's hooves on my chest, I hear his hooves moving in the stalls this morning. Brothers and sisters, keys to the city are safe with me. I shall die, but that is all I will do for death. Emerson Benson did it. Look at it. Look at it. A black woman writing about herself wrote The Mask. But before her, Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote Mask. He wrote, seemed like to me, oh, that's Paul Laurence Dunbar. Seemed like to me the sun don't shine so bright. Seemed like to me the keys to the city are getting bright. Seemed like to me the sun done lost its light since you went away. When I think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life has been one great big joke. A dance was walked, a song was spoke. I laughed so hard I nearly choked when I think about myself. 70 years in these folks' world, the child I works for calls me girl. And I say, yes ma'am, for working sake. I'm too proud to bend and too poor to break. When I think about myself, I almost let my stomach ache when I think about myself. These folks can really choose my world, you know. Honey, I laugh so hard, I nearly cry when I think about the children. But then, I laugh until I start to cry when I think about myself and my folks and the little children that we wear the mask. that grins and lies.
Yeah.
It shades our cheeks and hides our eyes.
Yes.
This debt we pay to human God. With torn and bleeding hearts,
We smile.
we smile.
Amen. Amen.
But mouths with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh my gosh. Our tears to thee from tortured souls arise. And we sing. The clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile. But let the world think otherwise. We wear the mask. I wanted to recite you a poem of Paul Laurence Dunbar, other than that. Mr. Dunbar wrote a poem called Sympathy. From this poem I took the title of 2 books. When I think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life is one great big joke. And I have sympathy for the words I spoke. Sympathy. My life calls forth such sympathy when I think about myself. I have to go on. I have to. Yes, I have to go on to another poem. Yes, this would be a poem I wrote for human beings. I wrote this really. Yes, please. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes, give it for me, please. They make me laugh. I don't,